have these issues in the locker room, you have no chance. I don't care how good you are. When the locker room is fractured, you have no chance. We're seeing it on the other end, the Celtics. The Celtics, they have a disagreement in the locker room, but then they come out and win a game. And then they're at the pool hanging out, dancing, wrestling each other. So you can tell that that team is together. They have chemistry. They have continuity. This team doesn't have that. And the reason why is because it's bigger than just, you know, we're not seeing the floor the same way. We're not on the same page when it comes to how we're approaching defense, how we're approaching offense or load management. This is about, I'm better than my star. Right? Like if you put your money into Paul George and you got people saying that I'm better than him, then there's egos and then that's just a bad equation. Blow it up right now. Yeah. Take those three guys, figure it out, because you can't get better than them Wilds. Like those are your core guys, and those three guys got to figure out, like, okay, who are we and how do we want to proceed? How do we want to move forward? And then be transparent with everybody else coming in. This is how we play ball here at the Clippers. We're embracing load management. This is how our superstars act in practice and games, and are you willing to deal with it? Those players say yes, you move forward with them. They say no, they don't have a chance.
Yeah, I don't know how good of a motivational speaker Paul George is if his big speech that warranted all these eye rolls was, hey, let's stay together and remain committed and make another run. And it's like, this guy believes in me. Paul George believes in me. I don't know what's the deal with this guy. I'll give you the flip side of it, Broussard. What if he said this, which I guess is what he's supposed to say? Collectively, I feel like we have great pieces, but it's pretty glaring. We need one more piece or two more pieces, because that's what Kyrie said, and we killed him for it. We killed him for it. That's the real answer. Paul George is saying, let's stay committed, and now he's getting killed? I don't get it at all.
Look, we can talk about players they need to add. They could use a playmaking point guard or guard. Like Nick said, they could use some more size, even add some shooting. But I'm going to give you the two things that absolutely must happen for the Clippers to reach their potential next year. One, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers has got to hold his two stars, Kawhi and Paul George, accountable. All right? There are players in that locker room, I'm told, that are looking at Doc. You talk about rolling eyes at Paul George. They're rolling eyes at Doc, too, because they're saying you're not holding those two accountable. You're not coaching them as hard as you're coaching us, but you jump on us for the things we're doing wrong. So, Doc, that was a problem even going back to Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. DeAndre Jordan and others looked at that. You don't say anything to the stars, but you're jumping on us. So Doc has got to hold all of them, including Kawhi and Paul George, accountable and coach them hard. Secondly, Kawhi Leonard's got to show more of a commitment to the team rather than just being a mercenary. He was a mercenary in Toronto, and it worked, so he thought he could do it with the Clippers. The Clippers agreed. They thought it might work, too. But now, next year, he's going to have to be at practice more, be engaged more in practice. And if physically possible, he's got to scrap the load management and play roughly the entire season, 70-plus games. If that happens, they can develop chemistry. His minutes he played 39 minutes a game in the playoffs, 32 in the regular season. He wasn't ready for it, so he looked gassed in the fourth quarters in many of those games. So all of those things have to happen for the Clippers.
So, listen, all that sounds great, Broussard, and I don't say that dismissively. I think it does sound smart and great. The problem for the Clippers is they've got the sword of Damocles hanging over them all next year because they traded everything except for the fancy new arena they're building to get Kawhi and Paul George, and either or both of them can walk for nothing next season. They traded all that. They're like, okay, we're overpaying for Paul George, but we're getting Paul George and Kawhi, and we're going to get them for 4 years. Or maybe they'll sign 3+1s. And then Kawhi and Paul George came in and said, we're signing 2+1s. And the first year ended in disaster. So, yes, you need Kawhi to buy into it, but if he doesn't, you better be careful because he can walk away. And the other problem, Jenna, and this
Where's he going to go?
Forget the fact that Kawhi... Anywhere he wants. I don't know if he will leave. I just know he has the ability to leave.
There's nowhere he can go. There's nowhere he can go. Where you going to just keep bouncing from one team to another? Like, you chose this. You and Paul George chose this. So you guys got to figure out who you are and how you want to proceed. Do you want to, scrap load management? Do you want to continue to embrace load management? And if so, make sure you guys have people in that locker room that understand their role and they're going to embrace that philosophy as well. They're not on the same page.
The other thing,
this locker room is...
Jenna, sorry, Brandon, just real quick. The other thing, Kawhi's going to have to do something he's never been asked to do his whole career. He's going to have to be a leader. He wasn't asked to be a leader in San Antonio. He wasn't asked to be a leader in Toronto. That was Kyle Lowry. He's been a great player, but he's got to be a leader as well, which he has not yet shown that a willingness to be, aside from through excellent play, except for, of course, in the second half against the Nuggets when he was terrible. We don't have to get into that. Go ahead, Jenna. Wilds is falling off screen.
A lot of items on this Clippers to-do list. It feels like we're only scratching the surface of this story.